Assalamualaikum and greetings to Dr. Madihah and fellow friends. Our group will be presenting on the Djibouti's literary text and its relevance in the environmental, political, and economical aspects. My name is Nur Hidayah binti Mat Fauzi and I'm the first presenter. Our group had chosen two literary texts from Djibouti entitled Transit and Passage of Tears. Transit is written by a novelist and short story writer named Abdurrahman Waberi. It is a timely and politically relevant novel which originally published in French in 2003. It provides much needed insight into an area of perpetually troubling issues that stem from colonialism in African countries. Transit is a novel of Djibouti and its recent history, politics, and physical, economic, and moral landscape told from the perspective of five characters: Bashir, a former soldier in civil war at Djibouti; Harbi, an academic who returns to Djibouti after studying abroad; Harbi's wife, Alice, a French woman; their son, Abdul Julian, and Harbi's father, the patriarch. Two immigrants from Djibouti waiting at the airport in Paris reveal parallel stories of arms trafficking, war, child soldiers, drugs, and hunger. Bashir is wounded as he recently got discharged from the army, finding himself inside the French embassy. Harbi is also there as he was arrested earlier as a political suspect. Bashir is mistaken by an embassy officer as Harbi's son, but since Harbi does not deny it, both of them will be exiled to France nevertheless. Meanwhile, the second novel, entitled Passage of Tears, is also written by Abdurrahman Waberi in 2009. Passage of Tears features the voices of the novel's central protagonist, Jibril, and his twin brother, Jamal. It begins with Jibril, who has spent the past 15 years living abroad in Canada, coming back to his hometown to carry out a mission which is to gather intelligence and resources for a Western company on the strategic location for the shipment of the world's oil from the Arabian Peninsula. While he is at home, the memory of the bitter estrangement with his twin brother Jamal comes to resurface. Jamal is an Islamic extremist whose prison writings form an unpleasant counterpoint to Jibril's sentimental reflections. Through Jamal's prison journal, it tells the story of Walter Benjamin, the philosopher exiled in Paris. From these two dueling voices, the notion of exile and home, fate and freedom has prevailed. There are three environmental aspects that can be seen in the novel Passage of Tears. Firstly, the extraction of uranium to create nuclear energy. In order to replace oil, which is extincting and decline in quantity, the Western company who hired Jibril asked him to search for the location of uranium magnets in Djibouti. Their goal is to create nuclear energy, which will benefit their company for a long term. The textual evidence is as follows. The uranium magnates who are betting on the disappearance of oil and the renewed interest in nuclear energy will put billions of dollars on the table once the battle to restore security has been won. Their mouths are watering over this long-neglected region and has significant uranium potential judging by its surface and geological profile. Secondly, other environmental aspects in Passage of Tears are desertification and drought. In the text, it said, somewhere between Asap and Zila, as you go by the Gulf of Tajora, there is a land without water, a rocky land plowed by the stubborn steps of man. It sprang up from prehistoric chaos and was once greener than Amazonia. Thirdly, another environmental aspects of the novel Passage of Tears are the extraction system of water from fog by the villagers. In the text, it said that, luckily, there is the fog. Another text said, a real piece of fog that falls and settles in for the day. Men, ever alert, have set a trap for the fog. The villagers create a system in which they receive water by capturing the fog in order to supply water for their daily life routine.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Shara and I will continue further on the economical and political aspect. So as for the economical aspect, the text Passage of Tears shows poverty and unemployment. One of the texts touched on poverty, mentioning a sentence that says there is an impressive number of twisted faces of people with goiters and tuberculosis. It shows that from here, they lack health awareness and medical attention at Djibouti, knowing that their country is also already struggling economically, so it is a little difficult for them to get such privilege. Moving on, as for the unemployment that is in Djibouti, favoritism or injustice happens despite the effort that they put to look for a job. As it says here, they all try hard, but they just don't have any luck. It means by luck that no matter how hard they put effort, favoritism will always come first. Moving on, as for the political aspects, there are 2 points that we would like to highlight in the same text, Passage of Tears. Firstly, there is penetrable land security, and in this text, the first character was on a quest for the intelligence agency and he was collecting confidential data of Djibouti, which is basically to buy part of Djibouti property for profit. Secondly, there is also discrimination in the working sector. One of the characters believe that Djibouti shall depend on another country for the better future of Djibouti and not their own government. So he would belittle citizens of Djibouti, making them having the need to depend on another country rather than their own government. There is also another text that shows political aspects and it's entitled Transit. So Djibouti is a country that tends to depend on another country. Hence, one of the texts in the passage shows interference of outside power. It is highlighted that the president could not stand up for his government, so he chooses to follow instructions from outside, which are orders from another country to govern his own country. That's all from me. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.